morning, everyone. Namaste. I'm going to call in Archangel Michael to place the white light of protection around us with his blue seal, as well as Archangel Raphael in the green healing light, Saint Germain in the violet flame, Archangel Zachiel in the violet fire, the Manama golden Christ light energy, and the pink and golden white light. And the reason being, guys, is we're going to be reading more out of my workbook for letting go, a practice of surrender. So this is going to be shadow work. So if you want to pause the video and go grab a pen and paper. So I'm going to be asking you the questions that I want you to contemplate, but I'm also going to be giving you my feedback. Again, guys, I worked with trauma victims for 5 years. I was on the human trafficking team. I went to course with families with trauma. And as well as I was deemed an expert witness on the subject, so by the courts. So I know a lot of the information. I'm just going to give you some of the insight that I have received. I also am a trauma victim and was in counseling for about 10 years for my trauma. So I learned a lot from going to that as well. So the first self-reflection that we're going to have, and I'm going to use some smoky quartz with this. It says, how well do you understand the function of emotions in achieving your survival goals? So I want you to go ahead and write what you think in regards to that. But I want to make a statement in regards to something I learned from one of my, Dr. Jackson, who I absolutely love. He was my psychologist for a very long time. He had lost his wife to suicide, and he was very passionate about helping to make a difference in people's lives. And he said that one of the problems I had from experiencing so much trauma throughout my life is that my cup was completely filled. It was overflowing. So every single time anything bad happened or somebody said something bad to me, it was literally spilling over. So they're not called Karens. They're not called, angry, mean people. They're people that have not dealt with their trauma. And I'm not stating what they do is okay, because it's up to you to get the help for it. But I'm telling you where they're coming from. So what his goal was to do is to deplete and make it to where there wasn't very much in my cup, to where when bad things would happen, I would have the ability to be able to handle it from an emotional balance standpoint. So I don't know necessarily if that's exactly what they mean, but that I really like that information, and maybe that can help to spark and trigger some of it. So the second question is, do you have any feelings that you prefer to repress or ignore? So in my undergraduate for psychology, they did a study, or there was a study that we had learned about, where they took mousy people and they took people with cancer, and they found a 90% correlation between the two. Meaning if you suppress your feelings and your emotions and your anger and resentment, that it is going to imbalance your mind, body, and soul, and things like cancer can come from it. Doesn't mean if you have cancer that you are a mousy person. It doesn't mean if you're mousy that you're automatically going to get cancer. It just had a 90% correlation between the two. So I think it's relevant and something worth noting. So essentially, it's a poison that you're holding inside of your body. That's why screaming into a pillow, writing a letter to the person, stopping the person in the track when they're talking down to you. Look at them directly in the eyes and state, are you okay? That question alone right there is going to stop people in their tracks. It's going to, first of all, let that person know that they can't dump their problems on you. Second of all, it is going to put the problem back on them. They either have two options. One, to take accountability for their actions, which they are not going to do. Or two, to blame it on something else. So they're going to blame it on their car got broke, they their mom's yelled at them, or they're fighting with their husband. They're going to blame it on anything that they could possibly blame it on, because they're not going to want to take accountability that they are being a jerk and they are dumping their stuff on you. So you're stopping in your tracks, and I want you to be sincere when you look at them and say that. And then the third thing is how can you improve your emotional understanding and acceptance? And what I think in regards to that is just looking at it from the other person's perspective, knowing that that person's more than likely just hurting. And that's my perspective and feedback. I love you all. I hope this helps, and namaste.